Hello, blessed soul family, star family. Oh, I kept putting off putting this together and starting this, and not because I didn't want to. I love, love, love doing these for you and myself, but because of where I live, there's like a massive festival this weekend. It's like the biggest festival of like, it's like a major deal. It's been going on for like 100 years. It's a really big deal, and the weather is like sublime. You know what I mean? It's sunny, it's warm, it's in the 70s, it's like perfect spring. I mean, I get it, but like there have been like moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, it sounds like people are barreling up our road. It's like, it's just, it's interesting that we lived here last year, and I think I noticed it, but I don't think it bothered me as much as it's bothering me now because I've been here almost a year. It's very interesting how that is. Oh, look at the candles. So I don't want to talk too much about myself. I just want to let you know. See, listen, it's like it didn't matter. It's like it'd be nice for a minute, but I feel like this is what they're trying to tell us too. Also, thank you, Spirit, for blessing whatever that situation is, but I feel like it's like almost like the emergency. It's been coming in some of our readings lately. That kind of siren energy has been coming in, and I feel like it's kind of like a not a warning like, whoa, you better get your shit together. Like, I don't feel like it's like that. I feel like it's more like time waits for nobody, right? Time waits for nobody. And it's there are times where we stand still and there are times to get moving. And I feel like right now it's really interesting because we have so many transitions taking place in real time. It is Friday, May 12th, 2023. We are at the last days of Mercury in retrograde. Eclipse season is over, but we still feel the shadow of that, like we do with the retrogrades. It's still here. It's still about. Also, I feel like a lot of us are going through massive transitions, and so this time right now, you're probably feeling a lot of things. You're probably feeling a little all over the board with your emotions, and that's okay. It just means that you're alive, and it means that you're paying attention to the energies. Now the difference is we only have a week left of Taurus energy to ground and center ourselves and work through everything we've gone through over the last month. Because, you know, even though today is the last quarter moon, we're in the seventh moon phase. We are in the transition and forgiveness phase. We still are, it's in the last quarter moon, but starting tomorrow on the 13th, we'll be in the waning crescent energy, and all of from basically from today until next Sunday, the 21st, when Gemini season comes in, it's going to be a doozy, but it's going to be really cool and really beautiful if you lean into the energy, because right when Mercury goes direct, Jupiter is going into Taurus next week, and that is going to be really powerful for all of us. I'm going to put a link in the comments. I'll put a link in the comments section to watch Braca Goldsmith's. Ooh, when I looked down, it was 333, and then it was 334. So I felt like the 333 was a wink, wink, and an angel number for us to look at. The 334, when I saw that, I saw the number 10 and its completion. So a lot of us are at the end of some really shitty, heavy stuff, and next week we're going to start feeling like we can breathe again. We're going to feel, at least for the next 6 months until we go into the next eclipse season, and all that. There will be another retrograde season in there in the next, because retrogrades, Mercury goes into retrograde pretty much every 3 or 4 months, I think, something like that. Don't quote me, I'm not an astrologer. But yeah, so there's a lot going on, and I mean, I could tell you it's in my calendar, but I'm not pressed to go into the future right now. But lots going on, lots going on, lots going on. And then we have the, new moon is going in Taurus a week from today. So we've got the last week of this moon cycle, this Aries dark moon, to squeeze out the end of the shit, basically, to let go of, what is no longer serving us, like really letting it go. And this is the transition and forgiveness phase. And let me tell you, in my meditation, in my little yoga before I started this, a lot of things were coming through for me, from my family stuff, I saw myself as like a 5-year-old little girl, being bullied and understanding like certain things and forgiving the perpetrators, forgiving the bullies, letting it go because it's not serving me in any way anymore. It's not working for me. I feel like this wants to come closer. It's like I really feel that like this energy isn't working for me anymore and I don't want to hold on to it. And I get the sense it's for all of us. Like, we don't need to hold on to this dark, heavy energy anymore, especially if you were bullied. Confront the bully. If you do not want to confront the bully in this lifetime in person, you can still confront them on a different plane in meditation, and you can do it with love and grace. I had a really horrible situation happen some years ago, and the person, this I did wrong, yes, and it was such a poor judgment, and it really just went to show how ungrounded and tired I was, and it just wasn't me. And long story short, instead of it being like a thing where everyone was like, yeah, you fucked up, blah blah, it was like it was just like, you fucked up, like you're horrible, what's wrong with you? And the person I called them and I apologized, and I didn't know how it was going to go down, but I did not in any way, shape, or form think it was going to go down the way it did. It was like one of the most ugly, horrible things, and I just sat there and endured it. And the thing is later I looked back on it, and the more they were mean to me, the more I was like getting upset and apologizing, and I started to feel them literally getting off on it, enjoying my pain. They were getting literally deriving pleasure. I felt it. I felt it with every fiber of my being. Like they're like, yeah, good. I hate you. Like, because they felt like I was in their way. They felt like I was the one that was making certain things happen in their lives. And I'm like, dude, it has nothing to do with me. Like, I'm so sorry, but I was like, it really has nothing to do with me. And it took me a long time to get through that. But one of the main things that got through it, how I got through it, was that I didn't beg for forgiveness, but I definitely like asked their higher self to meet me on the spirit plane, and we had a beautiful talk. And their higher self was so beautiful, inside outside. She reminded me of like this one character from this movie that I loved, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I thought, wow. And then she showed me all of her pain and suffering on the human plane, and all the things that had happened to her through her childhood, things I didn't really know about, things I kind of knew about but like had no idea really. And it was eye-opening for me and life-changing, and that's how I let it go. And it was sad because of that situation, I had to let a lot of people go, and a lot of things that I thought were going to be in my present and future, it wasn't meant for me. And looking back on it now, everything that happened and transpired after that, it was all meant to go down the way it did. But sometimes it's hard for us to see something for what it is when we're in it, or we have some type of entanglement from it emotionally from a time when something happened, you know? And most of the time when we are bullied or hurt and people have, pick on us, whatever it is that you're going through, manipulated, all of those things, when that happens, especially if we're on the end of someone who's really working with the narcissistic energy of, that in itself is a really painful place. It's hard to think that we want to pray and feel sad for the narcissist, but we need to. I know I've been narcissistic in my life at times when I've needed things, wanted things. I've manipulated. I've stolen. I've done things that I'm not proud of. But I've forgiven myself. I'm not that person anymore. I've transitioned out of that energy. And every single person and every confrontation teaches us a different part of ourselves. It gives us a different part of ourselves. Hold on one second. Spring fever indeed. I am here. You know what? I know that we just had that, and seconds for you. I had to let Bubba in, blah, blah, blah. I set my hair on fire. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Luckily my hair is in braids and it just singed one of the bottoms of my braids, and it is what it is. But yeah, the traffic is amping up, and that's what it is. It's spring fever right now. So you know, I'm just going with the flow of the energy and doing my best. So let's take a moment. I'm going to invoke some energy, some Reiki healing energy. Also, Bubba's on catnip, so she's a little cray-cray right now. That's okay. You ready for some healing, Bubba? Bubba, you want to say anything to everybody? Say meow. You want to say something? You want to speak? I know you're not a dog, but you want to speak? She looked at me like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Okay. So I invoke the power of Reiki healing energy into my mind, body, and soul. I'm rubbing my hands together. If you'd like to receive this Reiki healing energy, all you have to say is, I accept this healing energy with grace and gratitude. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. So I invoke the power of Reiki healing energy into my mind, body, and soul, and to all of those who wish to accept it as well. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for healing us from the inside out and the outside in. Thank you for healing our auric field. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you for healing our auric field and repairing any rips or tears in our auric field. Thank you. Thank you for balancing and aligning our chakras with grace and gratitude and clearing away all of that which no longer serves us. Thank you, Spirit. Ooh, we need a good clearing. You guys need a good clearing. Here we go. We're clearing. We're using cedar right now. Clear that energy. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for balancing our chakras and clearing them of any negative energy or debris. Thank you for clearing our minds, bodies, and souls of that which no longer serves us. With grace and gratitude, we accept this healing, Spirit. Thank you. Are you guys seeing like some of these energies flying in? I don't know if your eyes are closed or not. If your eyes were closed, that's okay. You can keep them closed, but at some point you're going to have to like look back, because I swear when I opened my eyes at one point, like I saw like the smoke was coming towards the screen, but it wasn't just for me moving my hands. It felt like there were spirits flying. So I feel like this is a good cleansing for all of us right now. You know, this Queen Herbie, I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but she's come into my orbit, and it's like, she does these in like shorts, these little cleanses I do for you guys all the time. I am a natural Reiki and healer and all that, so I hope you are enjoying that. Anyway, today's a little flippity floppity because I'm exhausted. As many of you know, I lost a treasured family member this week, and on the 9th, actually. You know what was so interesting, as I noticed when I looked at the calendar, interestingly enough, I made a video for teacher awareness week, or whatever, teacher, National Teacher Week or whatever. Teacher awareness, you know what I'm saying. I'm tired. Anyway, I think I would have posted it today at some point, but I just got so like wrapped up in the stuff with my family, my aunt, but I was really upset. Anyway, but I just noticed that my aunt died in America on National Teachers Day, which is kind of cool because my aunt was like a teacher, and it was just very interesting. And I feel like she's been teaching me so much since she passed. I've been learning a lot. In fact, if you're interested in my personal life, I did a video about her. And I actually just did another video, another Tallulah talk called something like Life, Death, and Rebirth, or something like that. And it's about all of us going through transition and forgiveness. So look out for that as well. I don't know what's going to be posted where, at what time, what's going to go. I know that one's done. It's already uploaded. I just haven't posted it yet. But there's a lot going on, and I know I say that all the time because there is, and we either lean into this energy or we lean out of it, but we really need to lean into the healing part of it. So This deck that wanted to speak with us today is a really special tarot deck that I fell in love with when I was searching for oracle cards and tarot decks when I started working with them. This was one of those that I wanted so bad, but I kept hearing no, 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 no. And then finally, when I got the green light for it, I was like, yay! I was so excited because you'll see. It's just so joyful and playful, and it makes so much sense that this is the deck that Spirit wanted to work with us today, because even though we need to transition and forgive something, because I don't know how Spirit's going to have me. You already know, right? Like, it's already in the title, but I know that they had me write down transition and forgiveness and then an ending, because I saw this song and it was called An Ending, and the album was called Ascent. And Spirit had me actually write down the definitions of ascent. And the first one was a climb or walk to the summit of a mountain or hill. And the second one was an instant of rising through the air. An instance of rising through the air. And then right before I started this, the last music that really called to me was, it was called Last Wave, A Wide View. I mean, it's just said wide view, but I got from Spirit that they were just trying to have us like understand that like we're at the last wave of whatever this is. We're at an ending. I mean, last wave and ending, ascent, right? Like we're ready to like move to the next level, and it's up to us whether or not we are going to move to the next level or if we're going to keep doing the same shit, we've been doing forever kind of thing. I feel like this wants to go up a little. Maybe because we're going to start looking at cards. Okay. So with that being said, behind that beautiful fleur de lis is the jus de veuve, or jus de veuve. I always get the pronunciation of this before I do it, but it's interesting because I guess in French they would say jus de veuve. It's like rah. I think it ends on the and I think the Americans say jouer de vivre, something. It's like an and an a or something like that, if that makes sense. Either way, what it means is cheerful enjoyment of life. And that's what they want us to do. They want us to transition out of the pain and suffering, forgive it, let it go, let it end, let this be the last wave, so that you can climb or walk to the summit of the mountain or hill you've been trying to get to, right? An instance of rising through the air. Because once we finally let go and release the things that no longer serve us, that's when all of the good stuff comes in. That's when it comes in, when we let go of it, when we say, I've been saying words, phrases, certain things to my partner while we're transitioning into things, because for me, not only is it a big week for everybody astrologically next week, but for me it's a big week because next Wednesday on the 17th, Alder and I will have been together for 8 years, and we got married on 11/11/2020, which comes out to the number 8. And so 8 is an infinity number, and we were always like pulled by Spirit to understand that if we made it to that everything would finally come together. And so I'm really excited to see like what's going to happen for us next week, because we have that. And then the day right after that, on the 18th, I am living in the Pacific Northwest for 12 years. And interesting that I moved here on the 18th and I met him 4 years later on the 17th. Almost to the 4th year, So very, very interesting. So lots of cool things going up. Also, it's Gemini season and his birthday is the 28th. He's a Gemini. So lots of cool things happening. Plus, I'm a triple Sag, and one of my, ruling planets is Jupiter. His moon is in Sag, Jupiter. So we're very, 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 very excited to see what happens with us next week as well. Okay, so Spirit, any messages for us on transition and forgiveness for the tribe in general? Are there any messages? Anything that you would like to say? I feel like they want a real shuffle, like an old school shuffle, but these cards are kind of big and I have tiny hands. Okay, Spirit, what are our messages? Okay. Ooh, just like this. Oh, the Knight of Wands. Blaze. The Knight of Wands. This is Blaze. And so we don't blaze the card. I'm going to move this a little bit this way because I don't want anyone to... I've done that. I think I did it the last reading. I set one of the cards on fire. Knight of Wands. Okay, so Blaze is their name. The great thing about this deck is they name the characters, if there's animals, whatever. But very interesting to me too that this particular character is solo. If you've ever seen this deck, then you know that let me get in focus. I'm so sorry, you guys. I know I feel a little spacey today. It's just the energy. There's so much energy going on. It's like we live off like the freeway that's going into like the town that has this big event. So, I mean, it's too hot for me. You know, we live in the RV. We're off grid. I have no shelter above us. So it's so hot in here. I have to keep the windows open. Otherwise, it's like we will roast in here. So I apologize. I'm trying to find, oh, I think that's why. Maybe she wanted to, oh, there we go. I knew that I was like trying to figure out which way Spirit wanted me to go. Okay, so Blaze. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the tarot, you understand the Knight of Wands. And I understand the tarot to a certain degree, but I'm not an expert by any means. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and look for something at the same time. And so I always read from the book. And I especially like to read from this book because this book is just so rad. I mean, the person who wrote this, like, really, like, did you hear that? Yeah, that's going to be all weekend. The saddest thing about this is it's actually really cool. Like the festival that they're doing, it's like it's the irrigation festival, so it's like a really 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 big deal for many reasons and conservation and like all these things. So I love it, but also it's it's like this tradition, like up here. I don't know what the story is, but there's a lot of old vintage cars, motorcycles. People are like showing off their shit. There's a lot of money up here. You know, there's a lot of money up here. You know, so I apologize. I mean, seriously, listen to it. I feel like I'm in like, if you saw where I lived, you'd be like, what? And it's like, but you'd think I was living back in like downtown Chicago or LA where I used to live. Anyway, I digress. I'm so sorry. So the Knight of Wands, the keywords are energy, daring, passion, courage, and supportiveness. Also, Spirit wanted me to point out that it's on page 26. So I don't know if that's when you were born or that's how old you are. The numbers together come out to the number 8 as well. It could even be 62, like 26 backwards. It could be something like maybe something's mirroring you from somebody that's around the number 62, if that means anything. Okay. And it says, sprinting through the countryside with a flurry of energy, the dynamic Knight of Wands, Blaze, is always in a state of motion and change. His fearless drive and ideas will lead him to success. Step into the light of your own strength and move forward with confidence. Take advantage of new opportunities and give it your all. A new direction will reveal itself. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I hope that helped you guys. Like, I just realized that this is burning my little thingy. But I feel like they don't like want me to stop, you know, if that makes any sense. I feel like they're like, just let it like do what it's gonna do. Talk about like the end of Mercury retrograde, like all these like weird things. Ugh, I can't. Anyway, so that's very interesting. So transition and forgiveness. I mean, yeah, look at him. He's like moving forward. Also, I feel like this is like what's going on with this smokingness too. That's a cleansing for you guys. I know for me too, but this is more than that. This feels like I want to pick them up and they're like, no, like they need this cleansing. So accept this cleansing into your home, into your mind, into your heart. Okay. So we got the Knight, oh, excuse me, the King of Wands in reverse. King of Wands in reverse. But here's what the card looks like. I almost didn't want to use the flash today. But I know why they want me to use it, because you can see the card so much better with the flash. It's so cute. They're really cute, these cards. So see how we have two? We have the lion, and then we have the beautiful creature riding the lion, the king. So we have Gusto and Dynamo. Gusto and Dynamo. Look at their pretty wings. Okay, Gusto and Dynamo. So it looks like the one went out, but the other one is continuing to burn. Very, 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 very interesting. It's like this one burned out really quickly. It's like an ember. I feel like this is like symbolic for somebody, like almost like your house or like your life is going up in flames, but you're like watching it burn and you're like, you know what? I just gotta let it go. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. This is so. What is why? And also, why am I apologizing so much? Since when do I apologize so much? Not that I don't want to apologize because like I think I'm better. You know what I mean? It's more like I can't control what's happening outside. I can't control. You know what I mean? Like obviously, I can't control that what's happening there. Maybe this is what they're trying to show you. Are you trying to control something? Are you trying to control something? Is that what Spirit's trying to tell me, to tell you, like to stop trying to control something? Who's trying to control something? I can't. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done trying to balance those out. Like, I feel exhausted by it. And I feel like this is you guys too. Are you feeling this? Maybe it's just our tribe. Like, maybe we're all just like so exhausted we can't give anymore. So that makes sense. Let's see what the King of Wands. Interesting that Wands too. Wands represent fire, which we're burning right now, this cedar. And the candle, of course. But they also represent like the fire signs. So it could be Aries, Leo, Sag you could be dealing with, or it could just be you are the Aries, Leo, or Sag. Okay. So in reverse, it says ill-tempered, overbearing, and pushy, impulsive decisions. Okay. Sometimes when we want something and we don't want to wait for it and we just like run up on that shit and like take it over, we start to lose our focus. We start to lose our focus. Did you see that fairy or whatever come in? It was a smoke. And I feel like for some of you, that's what's happening. You're absolutely losing your focus. And your drive. I'm hearing from Spirit, and your drive. For some of you, you're absolutely, you've lost it. You're like, I'm done. Like, I can't give anymore. I can't pretend to care anymore. I can't, like, that's the energy I'm getting right now. Like, that's the energy I'm getting right now. And it was burning and smelling so horribly because that was paint, you know? And that's what I feel like too. I feel like it's almost like people are like, is it safe to come back in? Are some of you exploding? Or do you have exploding tempers? Or are you dealing with somebody, a King of Wands, who has an exploding temper, who's ill-tempered? Because that's the vibe I'm getting too, that some of you, you know, you're dealing with like this really hardcore, mean, controlling, vindictive, ill-tempered. I mean, that's the best way to say it. Spirit's right. Like, that's the best way to say it. Because here's the upright position for the King of Wands, okay? King Dynamo, the dynamic King of Wands, is highly respected for his charisma and intuitive leadership qualities. With a commanding presence, he theatrically rides upon his equally brave flying lion named Gusto. King Dynamo is confident and dares to be different as he passionately pursues his dreams. Let yourself be inspired by this king's innovation and bold creativity by seizing the day and making the most of opportunities. Go forth with confidence as you command your efforts towards your goals. Be not concerned about what others think. Make a splash and lead the way. Yes. So this is like, so I feel like this is you, right? And everywhere I go, this light, this is Spirit telling you, this is you. Spirit's going to have your back. The light's going to be with you everywhere you go. And it's almost like I feel like this is like an old version of yourself. And you're kind of like bringing them in together. Like this is how you're going to make this transition and forgiveness through this cycle. Listen to see what I mean? Even the birds. It's like they're trying to show us like we can't control everything. We can't like, look, I tried to make this perfect little altar and all these things, blah, blah, blah. It didn't work. I tried to burn on here. Like, and I could be like pissy and get mad or whatever, but I'm just like, it is what it is. I mean, there was one point where I'm like, I'm going to redo this. And Spirit's like, no, you're not. I'm like, come on. I'm like, everything's falling apart. And they're like, but everything has to fall apart in order for it to fall together. Oh, you get it? You get it? Oh, they're so good. They're so good. Okay, and I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck because I was drawn to it. And look at this. The 8 of coins. And look at him. He's a wizard. He's like the magician card. You can make your money. You can make your magic. But you have to run towards your magic and not towards, Also, I feel like this imagery is giving me like, this is you on the lion. Like maybe, you're the Leo or maybe you're dealing with a Leo or something. But I feel like you're always going to the aid of this person who really just either needs to be solo or they don't know how to be in a relationship, and they might as well be solo because it's like you're in this relationship with them, and this could be work, family, friends, whatever, could be a significant other. But I just feel like there's somebody in your orbit that keeps trying to, like, they keep taking the wheel back. It's like every time you start going forward and you're like, I charge, I'm going, yay, whatever, and you're going in the other direction, it's like they're running towards you. It's like, you're like, fuck, like, you're like, I thought you didn't, like those people, like you change your number, your address, and they still find you, and you're like, gosh, like, what do I have to do to, like, get rid of you? Also, interesting, this was sticking out, and I had to grab it because I knew right when I saw the top, I'm like, it's the magician. So yeah, they're trying to remind us that, we're the magician here. We are in charge of our own fate. We are in charge. And also, the magician is the first card in the tarot deck. You may also want to work with the lion spirit animal and the rabbit. There's a rabbit in here. I always say when there's animals in these cards, they're calling to work with them. And rabbits, not always, but they do represent fear. I mean, you can be quick like a bunny, you can, but they also, in here, it's interesting, like it almost looks like instead of it being like a meditative state, I'm going to pull this in here. But instead of it being like a meditative state, I almost feel like their arms are crossed, like to protect themselves, and their eyes are closed, like they're just letting the world go by, like, being super passive. And, but here's, Prezzo over here. He's got a wand, he's got a sword, he's got a pentacle, he's got the cups. He's got it all, man. He's got earth, air, fire, and water. He doesn't need anybody to tell him how to do his magic, how to be a magician. He's just naturally a magician. You guys are natural magicians. We're all natural magicians, okay? Every single one of us on this planet has our own magic. We all have something to bring, something to give. And I know I don't have to apologize to you. The only thing I'm apologizing for is that I'm just really tired. I say to you guys all the time, like, it's okay when someone dies, like, you'll connect with them on the other side. But so easy for me to say, but when it happens to me, I'm like, yeah, it's been a rough week. I'm handling it as well as I can, but man, like, this one was a big one. This was a big one. And so I haven't really been sleeping well, and coming off of, that, full moon at Scorpio last week, I was just starting to regain my momentum. I felt so good on Monday and Moon Day. I felt so good. And then like Tuesday, I felt good until I found out she died. And now it's Friday, and it's like I've gone through all these like stages of death myself. So and having to transition out of like energy from my family and forgiving certain things and her showing me certain things. It's been one hell of a ride. So anyway, do we have any more messages, Spirit? I feel like that's it. Would you like us to read from the Magician card? Would you like us to do any more for this reading right now? No, I feel that too. So, just take good care of yourselves and each other. I hope this helped you in any way. And it is short, Joie de vivre. De vivre. Jouer de vivre. It's the joy of life. And we need to live it. And we can't let other people tell us how to live it. Oh, yes. Oh, we haven't done that in a while. So, sometimes Spirit has me pull the cards. Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. You know how sometimes they have me pull the cards and then, like, shuffle them together and, like, kind of give you, like, a different view of it? They're just having me kind of go backwards this time. Ooh, interesting how the King of Wands is going to stay where he's at. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So here's our last little message. Let Blaze, this character, right? Let Blaze go. Let him run on to, and it could just be, see how it's like Blaze, it could be masculine energy, it could be a feminine energy, there's bows on there, there's hearts, it's all in the way you look at it, right? Like, there's no like boy girl kind of thing here. So whatever this energy means to you, so the masculine, the feminine, whomever it is that's giving you shit, that's like making you feel dark or depressed or whatever, the thing, the person, the situation that you have to transition out of and forgive. I'm feeling very strongly this has to do with a fire sign, because we have 2 wands there. And then also, even in the Magician card, it has all 4 represented, but there's still more wands than anything else. But it could be anybody, right? It could be any sign, really. So the book just fell. Spirit, I'm feeling such an odd energy, you guys. I'm so sorry. Do you want me to read anything else from the book or pull any more cards? Okay. Yeah, that's it. I feel like you guys know. I feel like you already know who it is, what's going on. This was not my best reading. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just going to say it. But I hope it did help in any way, shape, or form. But see what happens when I'm not on my game either. Because I'm just human here. And I lost somebody so fucking significant to me that was like such a love in my life. But even so, I had to let it go. I have to say goodbye. All right, you guys. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh.